Hey guys, Toast here, and welcome to another episode of Overwatch How to Play. This is a series that focuses on each Overwatch character's backstory, covers their basic mechanics and abilities, and discusses tips to play each character. Today's focus is Junkrat. Hailing from the same lands as Roadhog, after the detonation of the Australian Omnium's fusion core, Jameson Fox was one of the few survivors. Banding together with a few other survivors in a lawless and cutthroat society, they called themselves the Junkers, scavenging the twisted remains of the land. Junkrat eked out a living reclaiming metal and components from the irradiated ruins, and like many others, he was also affected by the lingering radiation. This touch of madness made him ideal for handling dangerous explosives, a love which quickly turned into an obsession. Junkrat found notoriety when he discovered an extremely valuable secret buried in the bones of the Omnium. Though few knew the nature of what he found, he was pursued by bounty hunters, gangs, and opportunists until he made a deal with the Junker enforcer Roadhog, who grudgingly agreed to be his personal bodyguard in exchange for a 50% share of the profits. With Roadhog in tow, Junkrat has left the Outback and embarked on a worldwide crime spree, leaving nothing but chaos and havoc in his wake. Now that we have a little backstory on Junkrat, let's take a look at the basic mechanics of this explosive-obsessed freak. Junkrat fills the defense role in this game and has 200 health with no armor and no shield. This puts him right in the middle of the pack when it comes to survivability of defense characters. However, Junkrat excels in mid-ranges due to his primary weapon, so you need to be a bit more cautious when playing him than other defense characters. Junkrat's primary weapon is his frag launcher. Junkrat's launcher lobs grenades a significant distance, bouncing off most surfaces to reach their destination and blow up whenever an enemy is struck. The word lob very accurately defines this action, as the grenades have a significant arc and are somewhat slow traveling. You'll want to practice a bit with this primary to get the hang of leading your targets and shooting at the appropriate angle to ensure direct hits. The launcher has 5 rounds in each clip, shooting at 1.66 rounds per second, and has a 2-meter damage radius. Junkrat has a passive ability called Total Mayhem. Junkrat's deranged sense of humor persists in death, and if killed, he drops several live grenades that quickly explode. They deal between 60 and 300 damage depending on the target's proximity, and can be a real shock to the enemy if they aren't prepared for it. Junkrat's first ability is called Concussion Mine. Junkrat throws out one of his homemade concussion mines and can trigger it at any time he chooses, damaging enemies and sending them flying. This ability does 120 damage in a 3-meter radius, so it can be pretty devastating to lower health enemies like Tracer or Zenyatta. The mine is also capable of propelling Junkrat himself into the air if detonated within a close proximity from him. However, the mine is not capable of dealing any damage to him. Concussion Mine has an 8-second cooldown. Junkrat's second ability is called Steel Trap. Junkrat tosses a giant metal-toothed trap that clamps onto any enemy that wanders close to it, injuring and immobilizing them. The trap is quite large, and though completely visible, it can at times blend into the ground a bit, making it difficult to see. The trap will lay dormant until either someone sets it off, destroys it, or Junkrat sets out a new trap, in which case the first one will disappear. The trap is capable of doing 80 damage and will hold the enemy in place for around 3 seconds. Junkrat's ultimate ability is called Rip Tire. Junkrat revs up a motorized tire bomb and sends it roaring across the battlefield. The tire bomb is capable of scaling walls, obstacles, and jumping as well. When ready, Junkrat can remotely detonate the tire bomb, dealing serious damage to any enemies within the blast radius. The ability also has a 10-second timer, after which the explosion will be set off automatically if not done manually. At 600 damage, the tire bomb is capable of taking out any enemy in the game as long as they don't have any armor, shield, or health buffs. Now that we have an understanding of Junkrat's abilities, let's move on to his strengths and weaknesses. One of Junkrat's biggest strengths is the pure amount of damage that he can output. His primary attack is capable of taking down any enemy that has less than 200 hit points from full health with 2 direct hits. He can also take out literally any character in the game if he gets direct hits with all 5 shots in his clip. Granted, this isn't an easy feat, it just goes to show the potential lethality of this character. Junkrat also has the ability to stop characters in their tracks for seconds at a time. This makes them prime targets for a few well-placed primary shots or perhaps a concussion mine as well. You have the added benefit that his Martyrdom passive, for those who happen to have partaken in past Call of Duty games, which drops live grenades upon his death. This can and will be a very unwelcome surprise to those characters like Tracer, Genji, or McCree who think they've gotten the last laugh. Junkrat's biggest weakness, however, is that his primary weapon can take a bit of time to get the hang of, as its slow firing, has a large arc, and a slow travel time compared to other weapons in the game. You can of course get lucky with your shots, but if characters close in on you, and believe me, they will certainly try, then you want to be proficient with this weapon in order to try and hold your own in these situations. Now that we know his strengths and weaknesses, let's cover some tips and tactics to play as Junkrat. Junkrat has an excellent combo with his two abilities in that he can place a steel trap on the ground, place a concussion mine on top of it, and instantly take down any enemy with 200 health or less without even having to see them. This can be infuriating to the enemy team since it's almost impossible to see it coming and extremely rewarding for Junkrat. Junkrat's steel trap can also be used as a warning alarm for enemies trying to flank you. If you place it at a flank point behind you, you can give yourself some advance notice if an enemy's trying to come ruin your day. Remember that Junkrat's concussion mine is also capable of sending him flying, so if you find yourself in a sticky situation and your concussion mine is off cooldown, place it either slightly in front or slightly behind you to give yourself a nice little push out of harm's way. Junkrat's ultimate can be devastating to the enemy team if they're close together, but keep in mind that Riptire is quite loud and easy for enemies to gauge its direction. Try to release it from a spot that's not too far away but far enough away that you're out of danger during its use. Also note that if you're anticipating an enemy to come into a specific area but aren't quite ready to detonate your Riptire, you can stop it from moving by running it straight into a wall. It will continue to run into the wall until you turn it from that direction, allowing you a little added control to get the play of the game that you've been patiently waiting for. But that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments if you feel better equipped to play Junkrat now, or if there are some aspects that I missed that you want to share. If you liked the video, please leave a like, and if you want to see more content, please subscribe and follow me on Facebook and Twitter, links in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Toast, and I'll talk to you soon.